So thank you for joining today, whether you're watching it live or watching it later when we post it on Facebook. I'm Julie Baird. I'm our Women in STEM coordinator at Big Brothers Big Sisters. And a little bit about me to get started. I've been working here for about 2.5 years now. I became involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters as a big sister myself. I'm matched with my own little sister now for a little over 3 years. So I might throw in a few stories about her because I have a great match, but we also have a ton of fabulous other matches that I will share some stories about. So to get started, overall, Big Brothers Big Sisters has been around for over 100 years, and we make customized matches between a volunteer who I'll refer to as a big and a child who I'll refer to as a little. And we believe that all children deserve to have access to their best possible future. We call our bigs defenders of potential. And I will talk today a little bit about our bigs, our littles, and what it's like to be matched in our program. So to get started, we'll talk a little bit about who our littles are. So on a practical basis, there are children between the ages of 6 and 14. That's the ages we'll enroll, although we will allow kids to stay matched in our program through graduation from high school. And we always love springtime when we get to see matches graduate from our program. We believe that any child could benefit from an extra adult in their life. So we will enroll many different types of children from all over the Treasure Valley in our program. And we want them to agree. All children want to be in our program. They want to have a big, and they want someone who isn't a parent, isn't a teacher, but who can be a friend, a role model, a mentor, and just a cheerleader for them to help them reach their full potential. And some reasons why people are enrolling in our program. Some kids, the parents say, oh, we just like an extra adult in their life who can be different from their parents. I have one parent who has a teenager and says, would I like it if my daughter would listen the first time I said something? Yes. But she hears it from her big sister and she will suddenly say, oh, well, that was good advice. We have Selma, who's in this picture, whose mother enrolled her because she really wanted Selma to have a female role model who was different from mom. Mom only has a high school diploma and wanted Selma to see that there's more out there for her. So she is thrilled that Selma has a big sister who has a college degree, who can show her that there's multiple paths available for her in her life. So what does it mean to be a big? Bigs spend time with their littles about 2 to 3 times per month and do things that both people enjoy. It can be, like in the pictures, getting ice cream or going and painting or going on a bigger adventure and going up to Bogus to go skiing. Whatever you find enjoyable. Many bigs will take their littles on things they already love doing. That could be going for hikes, going for a walk on the greenbelt, going for bike rides, whatever it is that people enjoy. We also want our bigs and littles to learn from each other and try new things. We have one match. I would not have said this was the likely match to love fishing, but the little sister so wanted to learn. So her big sister knew some, wasn't a big fisher, but knew how to fish. So she took her and they have now been fishing quite a few times and just love it. So finding those new activities too that a big and a little can enjoy together. And it really is about spending time together and developing that friendship. There was one little I was talking to once and I said, well, what do you do with your big brother? And his big brother was very different than other people in his life. He was being raised by his grandma and his great grandma, and they were just working to make ends meet. They didn't have a lot of time to take him outside or take him on vacations. And his big brother worked in the forestry service and was really cool in his eyes. And so the little brother said, oh, well, my big brother takes me on adventures. And well, what kind of adventures? Oh, one day we walked from my apartment down to Subway and we got sandwiches and we walked home. And I told the big brother this, and he goes, Julie, that's not an adventure. That's going to Subway. That's kind of bland, easy to do. And I said, but in his eyes, he was going with someone cool, and this was an adventure. And so it's opening up our little's eyes to new experiences. But does that really make a difference? Does getting an ice cream or going to Subway really make a difference in a child's life? And our national office collects data. There's many different numbers out there that show that our littles have improved academic expectations, increased self-esteem, avoidance of risky behaviors. But truly the stories are what will show the difference. We had one little sister when she was first matched in our program. At her match meeting where she got to meet her big sister, they were playing a get to know you game, and she told her big sister, well, math sucks. Well, this did not go over well with her big sister. Big sister worked in IT and said, we're changing this. So over the course of their match, her big sister worked in different ways to convince her that math did not suck. And one day they got donuts and had breakfast at Quinn's Pond and did a math activity, and the little sister loved it. And now they're at the point where the big sister had taken her little sister to shadow her job and see what she did. And now her little sister tells me, oh yeah, I really want to work in IT too, because my big sister does. This was something that she had never considered before this point. Her mom was also just thrilled that she's now thinking about a career that she'd never mentioned before and would have never been available to her if she continued thinking that math was awful. So that's where we are really trying to make a difference in this program. So the topic of this was, of course, our Women in STEM program, which I know you're all interested in. But to start, I'm going to talk a little broader about our community program, which the STEM program fits inside of. So our community program is where we match a big sister and a little sister, and they go out into the community and find activities to do. You can see in these photos, going fishing, going for walks on the green belt, lots of different options. Right now, COVID has limited some of those activity options, but there are still plenty to do. We've had lots of scavenger hunts lately, visits to MK Nature Center. There's lots of things to do outside. And we've had bigs get creative with science experiments they can do. Over the summer, big sister decided, well, we're going to do an experiment, but I want to try to make this fun. So their experiment was, what's the best way to make s'mores? And they tried all different ways. They tried a solar oven made out of a pizza box. As a spoiler, it didn't work very well for them, but if you get matched, you're welcome to try that. They tried over a candle, they tried in the oven, a few different ways. So I shared this, and then other matches tried it out too, and found all different ways to make s'mores. So the sky's the limit on what matches can do together, but it all comes down to what the big and the little think will be fun to go out and do together. The other side of our community program is that it is very flexible. The big works with the parent or guardian and the little to decide when they're going to meet and what they're going to do. So we say our expectation is meeting 2 to 3 times per month, but that can really work around everyone's schedules. Some people are very set that it is every other week and that works for them, and that's great. Some people with work schedules, travel, holidays need to move that around, and it can also work in those types of schedules. And our expectation is that those 2 to 3 times per month, it's an hour to maybe a few hours. It's not a whole day excursion. It's meant to be just a consistent support. And we do want bigs to be able to meet consistently with their little. Some of our littles in our program have not had anyone who will show up regularly for them. And a big really is that person. Some people will tell me, well, that's kind of obvious. If I'm signing up to do it, then yes, I have to be consistent. But for a little, it's not obvious that someone is going to show up all the time. And it's a big part of building that friendship and letting them know that they are special. So, as I mentioned, our Women in STEM program is part of our larger community program. And the idea for it came that we were seeing that girls were not necessarily encouraged to pursue a career in a STEM-based profession. And our idea is that we'll match women who work in a STEM-based profession with a little sister so she can get encouragement to explore STEM and the opportunity to see that something she may not have ever considered is an option for her and something she can achieve if she wants it. For example, we had one match, the big sister quit her job and started her own business. And she took her little sister to see that business so that her little sister could see this is something you can do if you want it. So part of that is seeing the big sister's career, if that's a possibility, to do a job visit. But we also ask our STEM matches to do about one STEM activity per month. And our STEM big sisters are not tutors. You're not pulling out homework and forcing them to get that math homework done that they don't want to do. This should be fun for everyone. Well, like I given the example of the s'mores, we also had one match that loved art. So they went out and did a scavenger hunt where they tried to find in nature each letter of their name and took a photo of it and ended up with a beautiful piece of art. There have been many different creative ideas, and some people think about it and say, well, how am I going to come up with that creative idea? Well, we provide support. We don't expect you to come up with everything on your own. When a STEM Big Sister is matched, we give her a binder with resources of activity ideas. And there's also regular emails that go out providing those ideas as well. So I will share if one match did something fabulous that the little just loved, we'll let other matches know. Explosions are always a great example. What kid doesn't love an explosion? So one match had done the soda bottle with Mentos. And I said, I've not heard of anyone else doing that in a while. And I put it out there. And then a few others said, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'm going to do it too. So I also try to help connect the bigs so that you're hearing about what other people have done so we can combine all the great ideas. This program though, while we do want the STEM component, we do want to keep the original intent of building a relationship, being a mentor, so that it's easier down the road for a STEM big sister to bring up something that a little might be a little resistant to. We had one big sister who, her little sister's a preteen and thinks she's pretty cool and is a little hesitant to do anything outside of her comfort zone. And she said, okay, we're going to do a scavenger hunt. And the big sister had no idea if her little sister would be excited about it or if this was going to be lame. Oh, I'm a teenager. I'm too good for that. And even the little sister said afterwards she was a little hesitant, but they had a blast. And it was all because they had that friendship that could help them decide we're going to try this together and know when we're going to stop. It was a cold day. It started drizzling and they looked at each other and said, we're having fun, but we need to stop now. So that relationship is really what comes into play in helping the littles explore new activities. So if you're thinking now that this might be a good fit for you, what we ask of bigs is that they commit to meeting 2 to 3 times per month with a little for at least 1 year. That gives time to build that relationship and time for that little to truly build that friendship. we know people can't look too far out in their lives. Like I said, we love it when matches can graduate from our program when the little graduates from high school, but we know that's not always realistic either. So we ask for at least a 1-year commitment. And I would challenge you to think about if there was a woman in your life as you were growing up or as you were beginning your career who is a mentor to you. And if you can think of that woman and think about what she did for you, considering giving back by being that mentor now to a girl, and think about changing her life and defending the potential of another little sister. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Some of you were forwarded an email that I sent out. You're welcome to email me with any questions. At the end of this, I'll also take a moment if anyone has questions right now. But if you're ready to sign up to become a BIG, the email address is on the screen. You can email Katie, who's our enrollment and matching specialist, and she'll get you started. In the beginning, I said that we make personalized matches. Our enrollment process is not quick and not necessarily easy. There's part of it is a training, there's background check, but then there's also an interview that usually lasts about an hour to an hour and a half. And that is truly to get to know all of our potential bigs. Our littles also, and their parent or guardian also have a long interview. And we're matching based off of what similarities we can see between the big and the little. And so our enrollment process will get you through that to help us find a good personality fit for each big. So now, are there any questions that people have right now?
No questions yet.
Okay. A few questions that I've had in the past that I'll just address. Some people think that there's a certain age limit to being a big, that you have to be 18 years old, extremely active to be a good big. Our bigs can range from 18 years old up until their 60s or 70s. So anyone truly can be a good big no matter the age. And another question I get is, well, can I be a big if I have my own kids? And I asked a big that who is in our program, who has kids of her own. And I said, how do you make it work? And she has worked it out with her husband that he can babysit when she needs to. And this is her time. She chose to so that she could give back, so she could be a mentor. She's in our Women in STEM program. And this is her personal time for her. So it is possible. Right now with COVID, we do know that if parents are trying to school their kids while they're learning from home, this might not be a good fit. But please do think about whether this is a good fit for you at this moment. If it's not, we're happy to have you at a later time. And I'm also happy to talk through. If you're not sure if it's a good fit, I'm happy to talk about what that looks like for each individual circumstance as need be. So if there's no other questions, I'd like to thank you all for attending. Like I said, if you think of any questions after the fact, feel free to reply to that email if it was forwarded to you, or you can also email Katie, whose address is on the screen. She'll be happy to answer any questions about the program as well. And please do think about if this is a good fit and sign up if you would like to defend the potential of a little. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.